Thurman surprised me in our fight. I was expecting more of a close quarters battle. I did get close to him in the first round, but he knocked me down straight away. He's got very good legs and he uses the ring really well. He wasn't easy to hit at all. I would favour him over Spence. Thurman is almost complete. He can box very well, he's a big puncher, and he's a little bit faster. Spence is not slow by any means, but I could see most of his punches. Furman could be slightly disadvantaged if Spence was able to get into close range. I think Furman works best at medium to long range, where he can get more speed and power on his punches. He's got the style and power, however, to take advantage of Spence's openings. Although Spence knocked me out and I went 12 rounds with Furman, I think Furman is the bigger puncher. Spence is heavy-handed, but Furman has that snap. Clearly Spence can turn your lights out if he lands clean, but I felt shockwaves through my arms whenever I blocked Furman's punches. He's definitely got more snap on his shots. Those are the words of Leonard Bundu, giving an interesting insight into what it's like to be in the ring with Keith Furman and Errol Spence. As you heard there, he says, in his view, based on the experience of being in the ring with both men, Keith Furman hits harder. And I can believe it. Errol Spence is not really a snappy puncher. He's more of a thudding puncher. He clubs you, he bludgeons you to the floor. He's not a guy that lands snappy, explosive, out the blue haymakers that put you on the floor, generally speaking. He's a guy who's more methodical, kind of like Marvin Hagler. And Errol Spence's people have compared him to Marvin Hagler quite a lot, actually. And I know people say it's premature to be making those kind of comparisons, and it probably is, but his promotional team and his management and whatnot, they're going to say those kind of things to build him up and get people talking about him. But there are some similarities there. Marvin Hagler was a puncher, but he wasn't explosive. He wasn't explosive like a Tommy Hearns, for example, a guy that he knocked out. Or a Sugar Ray Leonard. He wasn't explosive like that. He hit hard, but his punches were methodical and they were thudding rather than explosive and dramatic. And I can see a similar situation here with Spence, comparing him to Furman. Furman is more of an explosive puncher. His punches can come out the blue. They're faster. They're more sudden. Whereas Spence is a lot more methodical. His punches are placed. So, yeah, I can see that. I can see Furman maybe hitting a bit harder. And Bundu also has gone on record as saying Furman's power is for real. Sean Porter said the same thing. I know people are questioning Keith Furman's moniker one time because he seems to be hitting people and they're staying on their feet. But the welterweight division is full of guys who can take shots. There are very few weak links in terms of punch resistance in the welterweight division. I mean, you got Andre Berto, Amir Khan and Victor Ortiz. Outside of those three, nobody's really shown serious vulnerability in terms of their punch resistance. I mean, yeah, some of them have wobbled a little bit. Keith Furman wobbled a bit against Soto Karass. Kell Brook wobbled a bit against Shevchenko. Errol Spence wobbled a bit in one of his fights, but nobody's been cleaned out like Khan got cleaned out. These guys ain't been tasting the canvas a bunch of times. And then you've got people out there like Sean Porter, who has a tremendous chin. Yeah, he got dropped by Adrian Broner, but other than that, I mean, look at the bombs he took from Kell Brook. Look at the bombs he took from Keith Furman. Stayed on his feet. The welterweight division has been one of the most popular divisions in boxing for many, many years. And one of the reasons is because it's almost like the fighters at welterweight are the optimum size for fighters to produce good fights. I'm probably not explaining this very well, but with heavyweights, more often than not, if you get a heavyweight who can punch and he hits the other guy on the chin 3 or 4 times, that guy's going to go down. The fight's probably going to be over. In the welterweight division, the guys are not as powerful as heavyweights, obviously, but they're incredibly conditioned because they have to make weight. They're not as small as the, guys at featherweight or whatever. So they've got more physicality and more power about them than those guys. But they're not so powerful that they're going to be cleaning each other out with one punch every time. or 1 or 2 shots like heavyweights. So it's kind of a middle ground where welterweights can really bang each other up and dish out punishment where they're hurting each other. But there are very few disappointments at the highest level in the welterweight division in terms of 1-round blowouts in big fights. They're normally fights that are going to go a lot of rounds. There's going to be a lot of punches thrown. You know, heavyweights, again, or the higher you go up in boxing, the less action there tends to be because the guys can't throw as many punches. They can't throw as many combinations. So the welterweight division is like the perfect blend of speed, power, and skill, where it all triangulates at the right point to produce fighters that can entertain. Now, obviously, people have got different tastes. Some people prefer the heavyweights. They don't care if they can't throw the kind of blistering combinations and have the crazy exchanges that welterweights can have. Some people might feel welterweights are maybe not even fast enough. They might prefer featherweights. But hopefully I've explained what I'm saying here. So, yeah, the point I was making is that Keith Thurman, I think he is a puncher. I think his power is legit. But he's not a Tommy Hearns level welterweight puncher. Probably not even a Sugar Ray Leonard level welterweight puncher. But for today, I mean, Randall Bailey aside, Furman's probably the biggest puncher in the welterweight division. You might make a case for Kell Brook, but, you know, Brook has only fought Sean Porter. We're going to see what kind of power he's got against Errol Spence. But I think there's definitely a good case to be made that Keith Thurman is the biggest puncher in the welterweight division right now. And if that isn't a big enough puncher for you, then maybe the welterweight division isn't for you. Because, you know, these guys at the highest level, the elite level guys, most of their fights are going the distance. Most of Pacquiao's fights went the distance at welterweight, and he was considered a puncher. It is what it is. Anyway, let me know what you think about everything that Leonard Bundu said in the quote and all the points I raised in this particular video. It's happening, I'm out.